Fantastic.
Brian, we're here with Brian Duckworth from Astute
Coaching, yeah.
Astute Coaching. All right, tell us a bit about yourself, Brian.
Thanks, Matthew. Look, it's a real privilege to join you here today, and I really appreciate it. So my name's Brian Duckworth, as you've already guessed, and I'm a marketing and business growth strategist. And I've moved back into this field in the last 12 months because when I was originally doing it after we sold our business, I got dragged back into the bookkeeping side of things and looking after about 7 different real estate agencies. So that kept me pretty much full time. But last year we made a change. We got someone on full time to look after them because they were a group, so they needed a business development person and someone to really run their meetings and boards and so on and so forth. So that was a good transition for them. And I was quite pleased with the candidate they put in place. That he happened to be my nephew didn't alter my opinion one iota. So we've been in Geelong for 76. This 13th of December 76, I came back to Geelong and started work with a company that's long gone now, Geelong and Cressy Trading Company, which is on the corner of Yarra and Mallop Streets. That old building. Down below you had Ernie Crefts, who had his clothing shop. Gosh, the things you remember. And I guess we came back to Geelong because I'd always been working in Melbourne. I met my wife in Warrnambool when I was doing my accounting qualification. And we moved to Geelong because she didn't want to live in Melbourne. And I didn't really want to stay in Warrnambool, so we compromised a little bit of being in Geelong. But look, it's been great living in Geelong. It's a great town, and particularly the last 10 years since Ford left and a few of those bigger concerns, it's really transforming it into a technological hub, in my opinion. And you've got a whole range of diverse businesses using what were the old factories, and I think that's amazing for this town. Augurs well for the future.
Well, I'm actually enjoying the repurposing of those old buildings. I reckon what they've done with them is pretty fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
And the opportunity to turn some of them into cultural hubs as well, with regards to not just business but other things like restaurants, cafes, and all that sort of stuff. I think it's fabulous for Geelong. I think Geelong's ripe for that sort of thing, and we're growing pretty rapidly too, I think, with the new areas. So what do you see as unique about your services, Brian?
Well, the unique thing that I do for businesses is if I have a 45-minute meeting with a business, I can usually find them in excess of $100,000 worth of hidden opportunities within their business. So, $100,000 in revenue, that's an additional $8,300 odd a month. And we have a process to do it. So we've got a unique process, and we utilize some cutting edge proprietary software that really analyzes their business and calculates the effect of putting a change through the business to identify that $100,000. At the conclusion of that, we go away and we run the numbers through again to make sure there's nothing untoward and create a roadmap for that business. And look, it's a way of marketing our business, and we do the 45 minutes. There's no charge there generally. And often we find people said, well, look, I know I need this, but I haven't got a clue. Can you help me? And if we can help, we can help.
Great.
So that's our major claim to fame. Lately, last 6 months, I've been heavily involved in research around the Great Resignation and people issues. And I've come up with a new program, which I'm only launched this week. I launched it on Wednesday night. And that's all about getting in a holistic approach to managing your team. So you have a team of A players. So that's something a little bit different, and we'll have more information available in the near future on that.
Good. Can you tell us, while we're talking about customers, can you tell us a bit of the unique experience you've had with, like a success story or something like that you've had with a client?
Oh, look, absolutely. And I was just thinking about it the other day, actually. And, you know, we all have a lizard brain, and that's the fight or flight thing that's in the back of our mind. And as humans, we generally look at things in a negative fashion. And that's because we've always, as prehistoric humans, and it's built into our DNA, we're always on the lookout for the saber-toothed tiger or the attack coming from behind. We're always in that little bit of a fear phase. And that impacts in business how we look at things. And if you have a business owner that's a little bit of, well, most business owners are fairly controlling, and they'll always say, no, you can't do it as well as me, which dooms them to doing everything themselves. Pardon me. And it's also it's very hard for them to delegate because of that. When you've got a larger business, you've got to really be able to delegate to maximize your leverage. And I had a client who was a real control freak. No one could ever do it as well as me. No one can be trusted, so on and so forth. So working with him, I managed to get him to see a little bit of clarity. And the great thing coming out of that was he was able to start delegating. He was able to let go of clients he didn't want to deal with. And we've all had clients like that. And he gave him a headspace and a lot of clarity around his business. And he was able to create a new add-on product to his business, I'll call it a product, and create a new revenue stream, which from what he said is about an extra $250,000 of revenue every year. So having that as a customer result, that you've got them out of that controlling mindset, out of the lizard brain, and being able to see other things, is hugely satisfying. It really gives you a buzz. And that's why I came back into coaching, to be honest, is that buzz I get when a client has that breakthrough. And the key outcome learning from that is really, if you can demonstrate value of an outcome to clients, the clients will start to see it from a different perspective and change their view of the world.
Good. Now, what do you see as the future of your coaching business?
Well, the future is certainly working with businesses on the marketing side. But a lot of the larger mid-range businesses, 10 employees and up, struggle because they're always juggling their people. So this is my A-player team method, or talent method as I call it. So it puts them in a position where they attract A-class players, they retain them, and they motivate them. And I think Richard Branson said it best, I think. If you train people well enough so they can leave, and then treat them well enough so they never want to, then you're on a winning situation. And that's the whole thing behind my program. Old ways, 20th century, you had a silo doing the recruiting, another silo trying to retain them with bonuses and just throwing money. And that's not what it's all about. And then motivating, you can't just motivate by money. You've got to motivate with commitment and a feeling of belonging.
I think I actually read that. I was cruising through LinkedIn, and I think it popped up in the feed, that saying from Richard Branson, with obviously a picture of him and the quote that you just told me there.
Yes, I'm not nearly as good looking, of course.
What sort of advice do you have for new business owners?
Look, the real big one is, for me, is ask for help. And don't listen to your peer group, because their idea of help may be biased. There's a lot of people out there that will give help. So, for example, myself, if someone comes and says, can I have a chat? 45 minutes, I'll have a chat to them. And it might be about starting their new business. It might be a blockage they've got, because I'm here to help people and to serve. Then if they need help, I can provide it, but if I can give them a little bit of clarity of direction. And there's also the small business mentoring service, where I think you can get, is it 6 hours? I think it's 6 hours or 4 hours of one-on-one mentoring with a highly experienced business person. And there's no fee for that. So it gives, particularly someone starting, it gives them a great lift and boost.
Yeah, it's a good program. It's a really good program.
Exactly. And it's being comfortable asking, because a good business owner, a successful business owner, will know in their heart they don't know everything. So they'll reach out and ask.
And I think the experience we all have as small business owners or solopreneurs, or whatever you want to call them, sole traders, even the smaller business owners, operators, we can feel that we're unique. Well, we can feel that we're isolated, or we're alone in our struggles. But I can bet that despite the industry, I can bet that everyone's got similar types of struggles in small business, trying to run the small business, deal with staff and deal with customers and all that sort of stuff. It's just, it might be a different industry, but the experience, the customer service and all that sort of stuff is pretty much universal, I think.
Yeah. Look, I consider myself really lucky that I've owned and operated a reasonable sized business, because until you're responsible for managing, operating, motivating, recruiting, the whole 9 yards, and every Thursday cutting a payroll check, you don't really know what it's like to coach someone in the same area. You need to, for me, I think it's essential for the skills in my field to have that experience.
That's good.
Because it's tough signing that check, and you know you've got no money coming in over the weekend, and you're hoping that nothing will bounce. It's a tough gig.
So tell us now, as we wrap it up, how can people contact you?
Look, the best way is on my mobile, 0419 237 830, or just go to the website, astutecoaching.com.au.
Great. Fantastic.
They're the two easiest ways.
Thanks for joining us.
No, thank you. Appreciate you.
Talking to you. And forgive me for learning new software. But we had fun. I think we had fun setting it up.
No, I'm rather intrigued by this software. I think it's really nifty.
Yeah. Well, we had to cancel. This is the third or fourth time we've had to try and do this because of technical issues.
Oh, we gotta love our tech.
Yeah, it's always the way, isn't it? All right, thanks, Brian.
Matthew, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Okay, bye.